Hello, everyone. It's Samar Jade, your Ensoulment Doula, and I am recording this on September 13th, Friday 13th, Venus Day. It is, uh, the moon is currently in Capricorn, and I'm currently filming this during the hour of Venus. So just really allowing for the blessing of love in every aspect of its capacity to be in this collective message. So I pulled a card from the Wild Unknown Archetypes by Kim Krans. And the archetype card that came through is the Orphan, number 5. If you are familiar with the tarot, you know that vibe is associated in the minor arcana, the suit cards. The fives are associated with struggle, with some sort of difficult learning or crossroads position to overcome. But they represent challenges. And it's interesting that the author of this deck chose the Orphan as the number 5. What you see in this image is the hand of a child um, open towards a red flower with a serpent circling around the image. The wounded child, the abandoned, the beggar. To study the orphan is to study the deep and challenging energy of our time. We are ever more connected, yet face collective isolation. The refugee crisis haunts our planet. Children are separated from parents, and the earth begs for our attention. We are in a time of universal orphanage, of nature, of each other, of our own hearts. Take refuge in the fact that we all share this core wound and dilemma. It is normal to fear this card as it haunts the caverns of the soul. When it appears, take time, real time, to be in the presence of the feelings this card stirs in you. Let it humble you. What are you starving for? What is the deepest gift you could imagine given to others? What has been rejected is quite possibly what is most needed, dear one. Mm. As I've spoken about this before, but as someone who is a survivor of childhood abuse and neglect, my visceral reaction to the orphan was I felt it in the lowest part of my throat. This empty, hollow heaviness. And it reminds me of the times in my childhood where I had to hold tears in my body because I couldn't cry. And I think about this card coming today in the hour of Venus, while we see a great reckoning all over the world. We see the lives of children taken, brutalized. I hold in my heart a lot of grief when I think about the orphan, because there are even adults that don't know how to parent themselves. I am learning every day how to parent myself. The pausing that I'm taking, I hope it invites you to really settle into the gravity of this card, this archetype. On the one hand, this archetype shows us the ways in which we fail. We fail ourselves, we fail others, the ways in which our narcissistic qualities win over, the way our fear of scarceness chokes the light out of the heart of someone else. I believe wholeheartedly that while things look very grim, it is not lost. All is not lost. It is important, however, that in knowing that all is not lost, to make different choices. And sometimes making a different choice is much, much, much more difficult than doing the same. And I think that is because changing and doing something different would it requires us to meet the grief, the sadness, the depravity, to meet it face on, and then to acknowledge your heart. One of the most difficult parts of binary ways of thinking and being is that there is no room for complexity, multiplicity. There's no room for humanness. And we get caught in the throes of wanting to be a good person, wanting to do good, that it keeps us from doing the things that need to be done in order for collective liberation to come to pass. One of the things that I noticed in this imagery is the snake wrapping itself around the image, holding it. What can you allow the serpent to hold? What deep truth needs to be exposed? Where have you abandoned yourself in order to be safe? You don't have to abandon yourself any longer. While there is intelligence in self abandonment, we choose self abandonment in order to protect ourselves. And while there is intelligence in that, we did not come to this earth to be safe. If you look around in nature, you look at the cycles of life, you look at the different ecosystems around you, the only constant thing is death and renewal. You will experience forms of death in your life countless times. You will experience pain. You will experience hardship. But you will also experience joy and love, sacredness, pleasure, passion, and everything else in between, without, within. That's the beauty of being human, is that we get to experience all of that. So I want to leave you with an energy of grace, self forgiveness, self compassion, and the capacity to sit with your grief, to hold it, like the serpent, in all of its entirety. Until next time.